Oh. Damn, come on, do it. Okay. Yeah, look, I said it's Don't Blink podcast. Shorty's in the building. So this episode for all of the children and all the grown folks across the world. Even you. Hey, I see you, girl. Yeah, you looking cute. Looking at the TV. All the haters watching. I know you want to be me, but you can't. And I'm here with Uly. And my nigga Jaden, he just filming the movie. Mike got the other angle. And Gen 2, you already know it's freestyle. I don't pen, dude. Cause I come through and I do it like that. With him dropping the beatbox, I rock it like that. Welcome to Don't Blink Short, yeah. Welcome to Don't Blink Short, yeah. Welcome to Don't Blink Short, yeah. Welcome to Don't Blink.
Sporting touch of hands. Round number 1. There's the fast start, and that is the fastest knockout in bare knuckle fighting championship.
Hey, mama, no born in the Bronx, raised in Dade. Been in the city since Pit had braids. Bahapanti parties, but I know how to sneak me out. Now it's 7-figure meetings every day. We need a house. It's game time. The game's mine. You know the vibe. Yo, viajado el mundo entero, reppin' 305.
Killed it, dog. Both of y'all.
Damn, that was awesome.
That was fucking.
Yo, you've always done that like that?
Yeah. My brother used to rap all the time, bust a beat, or start flowing, and he would bust a beat every once in a while. He's like, "Here, copy me," so I can start doing it too. And I just started copying.
Oh shit,
There
that was
you
fucking
go.
good.
Hell yeah,
Good.
he went from beatboxing to beat your ass, boy, real quick.
Yeah. We need to take this show on the road, dog.
It depends on what you want. You know?
Yeah.
My brother, great to have you here, man.
I appreciate it, man. It's been a while. Obviously, you and I have been in between everything and pushing forward, and I'm just happy to be here finally.
How you feeling? I know you had a little knee injury that we're gonna get into too, but
Yeah, man, it's
I
crazy.
see you doing your fucking thing though, man.
I just can't sit still. I'm always pushing forward.
He conquered it.
I have to. You know, when I was in Russia in November trying to get ready for a fight, I slightly tore my LCL on my left knee. And then the fight ended up not happening because I was going to miss weight because of the injury. I was trying to push through. Just, maybe it was a blessing in disguise.
Right.
Yeah.
And then a few months later, trying to get ready for pretty much my return, about a year after my last fight, I did jiu-jitsu competitions like my other teammates was doing, trying to, stay as productive as possible. And I was winning them. And even though I won this last one, I tore my MCL completely to where I needed surgery.
Damn.
And so I'm probably about almost 2.5 months in from post-surgery, and I'm already sparring, which is dope, but I'm slowly trying to responsibly take care of myself.
Right.
I'm definitely pushing the button too
yeah.
far, but I still know my limits.
Yeah, you're
There you
taking
go.
rehab to the extreme point of rehab.
Hey, he's doing it.
Yeah, no, he don't stop. He's all around fucking badass for real.
So let's take it from the top, though.
Yeah.
And let him know.
Let him know.
Yeah, let him
I'm
know.
gonna let you know.
I was like, who am I fighting?
So we like to highlight our guest, dog, and you have a great, interesting story that me and you have gotten into before. Let the people know where it started. I know you were born and raised in Chicago.
Yeah, I was Southside Chicago. You and I talk about it a lot. My dad was part of a gang growing up. I kind of grew up in a trap house, and it was one of those things that my dad was that person kind of raising soldiers. And eventually with my brother, he looked at, man, even though he was a soldier and he raised them the way he wanted to, he goes, man, I need to take care of the next one better.
Yeah.
It was one of those, and sadly, always the first child's that test child. Sorry, guys. Sorry, big brother. But, appreciate you. But my brother was that guy that's like, man, I'm going to be the good, bad big brother. I was like, I did everything bad, so you should go left because I went right and I didn't work out my way. So go left and go this way. And, he steered me in the right direction. And my mom knew all the energy I had, so she's like, your dad wants you to know how to fight and take care of yourself, so let's put you in karate and keep on going. And I started at the age of 4, and I'm 29 now.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
So that's awesome. So let's get back to that. You started in karate. That was your first martial art?
Yeah, Shotokan Karate. Fun
Nice.
fact, I ended up being the very first black belt in Shotokan Karate in Chicago because most of the time when the kids became teenagers at like 12, 13 years old, they started getting involved with girls, gangs, drugs, started experimenting, doing all these crazy things. And my mom literally never let me quit. So she's like, no, come on, we're going. And that was my way off the streets.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And from Shotokan, it led you where into wrestling? Is that where
It's funny because I did sports all year round, football, baseball, basketball, all these things. Literally, karate or at least martial arts was all year round, but every season was something different.
Right.
But then when high school started, or I got to 10 years old, all my friends from football wanted to join wrestling. And they were state champions, state qualifiers. And they're like, hey, Shorty, you should try out for the team. Like, you're really good at what you do. Why not? I'm like,
It usually goes hand in hand, too.
Yeah,
right?
and it's back to back. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let me do that. Let me ask my dad. My dad thought, he's like, oh, wrestling, is that the one where they wear the spandex? I'm like, yeah. He goes, nah. Excuse my language. It was my dad, all right?
Very good.
He's like, nah, that shit's And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like a little parakeet. I'm like, no, that's you can't do that. And so naturally, I just never did it. And when I was 14, the wrestling coach would go talk to the football team, and then after was like, you guys should join the wrestling team. It's going to make you better for football the following year. So I'm like, all right, cool. You know what? I'm going to do me, but I'm going to join basketball first because I ended up being Unity Junior High School is the biggest junior high in the United States. There's 4 floors
out there in Chicago,
and there's 2 sides. So there's 400 students on each floor. So that's 1,600 on this side, 1,600 on that side.
Damn. So
you got a lot of damn students, and they never cross paths. Our gym was the same size as the United Center. I was able to make the basketball team with that. So I was like, okay, let me join the high school team. I ended up being the last person to be cut. But before that, the wrestling coach was like, where are you going? I was like, oh, I'm going to try out for the basketball team. He goes, when they cut you, I want to see you in the wrestling room. I was like, all right, bet. Next day, I ended up being in the wrestling room.
Oh, shit. And that took over your life, too, man.
The crazy thing is, I never wanted to quit. I'm the athlete that's like, I don't want to give up, but I didn't want to do wrestling because my dad looked at me different. He's like, it's still gay. You're wearing tight and you're wrestling with men. Now you're showering with guys. And so I'm just like, I'm going to try my best to get cut from the team. And I would show up late to weigh-ins. I'd come overweight. I'd do all these crazy things, but I never lost. I ended up being really good at it, but I never took it seriously. I was naturally good at that sport. And then my junior year, I lost by 1 to make it to state. And in my high school, if you make it to state, you're on the wall forever for the high school, like Wall of Fame type of thing. So I'm like, damn, so you mean if I actually tried, I could have made it to state? And so the next year I tried, I practiced, I did more than extra, and I made it down state and I ended up being in my high school's like Wall of Fame.
That's awesome. So, and you still there right now?
Yeah. And the fun fact is when I went to Triton Junior College, actually this year I got inducted to their Hall of Fame as well for wrestling and academics too. So I'm like, wrestling literally gave me the avenue for all of that.
That's fucking badass. Wrestling saved you from a lot of shit too, from the streets and everything, from the actual family life.
Yeah, and I mean, now you're getting into wrestling as well with MMA. Like that's a whole different thing. When people grab you, you're like, man, I want to punch you, I want to do this stuff. But even if you're not using wrestling to get take someone down, you got to use wrestling to know how to get away and create some distance, and that allows me to do that too.
I'm not gonna lie. About 2 days ago on Instagram, I saw you posted something with Dairon, which is a national Cuban champion, badass wrestler too, and what you did to him, like very few people in the world probably have ever done to him. You know what I mean? And it was great. I was like fucking impressed by Shorty.
That guy's a little tank, and me, I call myself Shorty Airlines. I'm throwing everyone. I'm short. You're not going high, but you're still going up. And Dairon, man, it was one of those things that to finish the throw, I need around the waist, I need the wrist, and he just pulled his wrist out. We're all slippery, we're wet, and so he just went. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna force this anyways. And he was able to put his hand down and cartwheel out of it. And I'm like, that's if you're good, only if you're good, you know how to do that.
Right.
And so when he did it and he cartwheeled out and I didn't land on top of him, I just got up and was like, damn, that was dope. All right. Shook his hand up like, let's keep on going.
Yeah, it was dope on both sides. It was like a weird, dope chess match to watch because I watched it, I'm not going to lie, probably like 20 times because I saw like, he went to shoot in, I saw you shoot your hips out and you went all technical. I'm like, holy shit, look how it just
triggered like
and that was my thing in wrestling is I would never wrestle. I was the judo guy. On the ground was when I'd wrestle because I'd scramble, outfunk people if you want to say. But on the feet, I was like, come on, take me down. Try to take me down. Grab me. Because judo, as long as I'm holding you, I can throw you. But if I can't get a hold of you, if I can't shoot in and create some type of at least physical touch, then I'm not going anywhere. Right. So most of the time, I wait for people, let people shoot in. I'll pop my hips forward. They come up. Whoop.
No, I've seen Shorty Airlines many times.
Some people are rewards members. It's a process. I'm going to start a credit card soon for it and everything.
That's awesome. I want one. My brother. So how did this lead into professionally fighting? How did you get into mixed martial arts?
So when I was 16, I was still doing karate, and I saw WEC, which was the small guy version of the UFC. Uriah Faber, Joseph Benavidez.
Which UFC ended up buying later.
Yeah, right. And so, but that was the small guy. I think 145 was the highest weight class. I'm like, I can kind of get to that. But I see Joseph Benavidez, he's I think 5'1", 5'2", and I'm 5'4". So I'm like, man, he's beating some really tall guys. I can do the same thing. Why not? So I found a gym that was local in my neighborhood called Combat Dough with Master Bob Sherman. He actually started his gym, I think, a few months before the UFC started their organization, which is dope. He's a pioneer in the gym. It just so happened that he started his career way too late. His last fight, he was 50, which is ridiculous. To even be fighting at that age. So he opened
I'm not too far from it.
He opened up the gym, and so I came on in, and man, I think at 55 is when I met him, or around that age, or excuse me, like 51, 52, and the guy's just like a tank. He's my size, but just you touch him, you're like, Damn, man,
Solid.
like he's a solid old, he's a solid old man. He's Master Roshi, if you want to say, or like the master of any anime character. It's like, damn, and he just has so much respect on him. But he was that guy, that proper father figure that gave me the opportunities. That guy that kicked me out of the gym multiple times, that forced me back in, type of thing. The guy that never let me quit. The guy that also made me fight guys that were your size that I shouldn't have been fighting. But he's like, this is what makes real man. To fight any weight class, doesn't matter what weight. So for me, I don't care. But MMA now, I want to create certain goals, and that's why with Titan FC, that's why I became the double weight class champion. I tried to go 3 at 145, but the champion said no. It wasn't a smart decision for him as well. Win or lose, it wouldn't have mattered. So for him, he kept me in the gym, and that's where I got my first fights, and it kept me out of the neighborhood. All the negative people, if you want to say, kind of entered the gym and saw positive people, saw a positive influence, and we all kind of stuck together and did our thing. And you understand, I always like to say boxing's a poor man's sport. The boxing gym I come from in Chicago, we call each other TBT. The money team.
Yeah.
We're not the money team, we're the broke team. And we take pride in that. Because we have to. It's like we're from the south side of Chicago. We're coming up. We're all usually blacks or Latinos trying to do our thing. And, we have to push on through and come up together.
Right, absolutely. And I mean, it is fighting in itself is a poor man's sport unless you stay consistent and follow through and you break through that door.
And you can use your platform to grow other avenues and other ventures of the business.
Honestly, you look at Conor McGregor. He was on food stamps. He was on support. His girl was supporting him the whole time, doing everything for him. And then that was his avenue out. But then you look now, he's one of the richest. At least last year was the most successful athlete, the highest paid athlete with his liquor company, donating so much money. He has his own foundation, and now he's doing so much more. He might not be the fan-friendly guy that he used to be, but still, fighting was his way out.
Absolutely. He better stay out of trouble. They're going to sue him for all the fucking money.
Damn.
Yeah, it's all good.
That's another thing that happens when you make a lot of money. They come get you.
Well, look at Mike Tyson.
Yeah, there you go.
Eventually he wasn't smart enough, and Don King, robbed him of everything. And then obviously now he's able to pick up different avenues because sadly fighting doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
My injury, you've had your fair share of injuries, or we lose. Might backtrack us a few years. So we have to make the most of it while we can.
Absolutely, the window of opportunity is small, and it's closing daily or every second.
Yep. And I was gonna say that it's so young, doing everything that you was able to do, and you're still so young. What at that time when you was like 16, 17, 18, when all your friends, you're still in high school, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What kept you motivated to continue aside from like your mom and stuff? Because you were seeing when you were at the house.
Man, I didn't want to be like my family. As much as I love them to death, they were that proper influence where like I'd see people, especially on my dad's side of the family. He had the rougher upbringing, if you want to say, like. We had some bad family members that did certain things, ended up being felons, or, you look at them, you're like, damn, that's a family member I don't want to hang out with because it's going to be trouble, or they're going to steal my stuff, or this or that, I hang out and I'm mutual and respectful with all my family, but they kept me motivated, and they knew I was kind of, if you want to say, the light of the family, to where they're like, anytime I tried to copy them, they're like, no. They would keep me in check as well.
That's awesome.
So they're like, we love you, we want to mess around with you and do all these things, but you can't do this. And I'm like, damn, all right, cool. Like my brother was a huge graffiti artist and still is. And I'm like, I want to learn graffiti too. And he's like, no. I'm not at all even going to teach you a hint of it because you're going to follow that same path. So my family kept me motivated, in a sense, kind of forced me in the gym. And I had all my friends there anyways.
Yeah, there
so
you go.
when people were like,
focused.
let's go hang out. I'm like, whoa, let's go hang out in the gym. I'm going to see you anyways. And that was the thing. So I kept on going. I got my degree because of it. I never even thought I was going to college, but not just go to college, but go to school for free. I graduated debt free. Yeah,
wrestling.
No, I had a scholarship for wrestling, but majority of my scholarship was because of academics.
Wow.
The crazy thing is, I graduated high school with a 1.8 GPA, which is all C's and like 1D, and then no school wanted to accept me. So I'm like, man, this is 2010. Do I want to go to school? Do I want to join the military? Which I was definitely afraid of because my coach's son came back with like extreme PTSD, and I'm like, oh man, I love him, but I don't want to be like that. Or work at the pizzeria. I was working at 80 hours a week. I'm like, I don't want to do that either. So you know what? Let me try school. First ever test, I failed. And I'm like, damn, I got to do this, And luckily, financial aid paid for everything. Thank you, parents being divorced and very poor. And financial aid paid for everything. I was like, let me try this. I had a really good coach, Harry McGinnis, to, like, again, motivate me, just like Master Bob, another father figure. And next semester, 3.0, 3.2, 3.5, 3.6. And I ended up being Phi Theta Kappa, National Honor Society, being an All-American. It was just one of those things that slowly started to grow. because I tried.
Yeah.
I didn't believe in myself. It was just more of like, let's just see how this goes. And I'm like, oh man, I'm doing this. It's the same thing when I made it to state. It was like, when I lost by 1, I was like, so you're telling me if I tried, I could have made it. I never believed in myself that way. But I was like, oh, let's just see how this goes. I gave it full effort, and look where I ended up being.
Look at that on the Don't Blink podcast, baby. He
Fuck yeah.
did it.
That's awesome.
Mama, I'm here.
Mama, he made it. And so, what brought you to your? How'd you get into your first amateur fight? How'd we start that?
So, Combat Dough, we did everything. Kickboxing, Muay Thai, Judo tournament, like everything of everything. And my coach was like, you do this. Again, I fought heavier weight classes. Right. I remember driving to New York, fighting 135. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to do the very first amateur sanctioned fight in New York because it just got legalized, a few years back for professional. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to fight at 35. I get there. My coach is like, weighing with everything. You're fighting at 55. Your opponent didn't show up and I'm bumping you up. I'm like,
holy
damn,
shit.
when you find out about this, it's like yesterday. I'm like, see, I was cutting weight the whole drive, man.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just like, I kept on fighting. My dad wanted me to be a fighter. My family was huge on it. My brother had 2 near fatal injuries and he was probably the most talented out of all of us. So he's like, man, you kind of have to live your life now for me too. So I'm kind of, I'm taking part of his journey, what he wanted to do. And so I kept on fighting, and little I know, I lost my first amateur fight. Yeah. I lost by, the fun fact with that, I was supposed to fight at 125. I weighed in, my opponent never showed up. And I'm like, well, damn, I sold tickets, I want to fight. They go, well, the bantamweight champ, 135, his opponent didn't show up. He's 5-0, 5 TKOs first round. You want to fight him? I'm that cocky 18-year-old that hasn't really fought. I haven't even put on MMA gloves yet. I was like, shit, yeah, sure, why not? Like, I was like, I'll do it. And out of nowhere, that's when World Star really started to pick up. So I'm like, man, I don't want to get knocked down in front of my friends. I'm all nervous. And I just won 2 Muay Thai belts. So I had, a chip on my shoulder. So I go in there kind of Muay Thai stance, like standing straight up, throw a combination land. But then he takes me down. While I'm falling, I'm looking at the ref going like, hey, man, that's illegal. Oh, yeah, it's MMA. I forgot. And then the first round I lost. I'm like, okay, cool. Second round, I got to do my thing. Don't even set it up. I throw a head kick. The guy does this. I kick his elbow with my foot.
Oof,
and I'm, I just keep on going, whatever. I win the second round, and definitely I go to stand up, and I'm like, man, I'm trying to bounce around, and I feel limp. I look, it looks like a golf ball that's in my foot because it just swelled up. It looked like a cartoon when they bop you in the head. It's like, whoop.
Right on top of the foot?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And out of nowhere, I'm like, damn, kept on fighting. That third round was back and forth, and I ended up losing the split decision. So I'm like, man, if I would have really tried that first round, again, that whole point of trying, maybe it would have been different. And out of nowhere, I went 25 straight, became 2-time world champ, do all these things.
I was looking at that, he lost the first one.
Dude, I never lost. And I went to places like, you're fighting the toughest guy here, and my coach would look at me, he's like, well, I guess we'll see how tough they really are. I submit them or whatever, and it was just that journey of losing. If I didn't lose, I would, again, with all those things I've had in my life, if I didn't have that one fault to go, damn, if I would have tried or if I would have done this, I would have never realized my potential. And 25 straight, went 7-0, or excuse me, 8-0 straight. When I turned professional at 33 fights, I was still undefeated pretty much. And then, or at least one loss. And then, finally I lost, and now, I'm 2-0-1 since that record. So I'm trying to pick that back up to hopefully maybe at least 20, depending on how many fights my career lasts.
Nice. Yeah. Well, that's a
lot.
Yeah. So after fucking whooping everybody in the amateurs, how did you decide to go pro?
So when I won the very first world championship, I'm like, okay, cool. I won worlds. I'm going to go pro. I still had 1 more year of college left. And NCAA rules, if you're on scholarship, you can't turn pro. Because now you're a professional athlete, your scholarship goes away. And I'm I want to fight.
Even if you're like fighting, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if you're a professional in anything, you're considered, and especially wrestling, it's a combat sport.
Right. Yeah.
So it's together. So I ended up not going pro. My coach is like, let's do worlds next year. You're just gonna have to wait a few more months after your college career is over. Right. College graduated in May. The world championship was in July, and I'm like, I want to fight. He goes, trust me, just listen to me. I would have done this if I was your age. Please do it. I'm like, swallow my pride. I'm like, fine, I'll do it. Out of nowhere, I ended up winning worlds more dominantly the second year, but I had tougher competition, because the tournament now is really, really growing. Right. I won it the second year, and man, I met some amazing people that they brought me a part of their team, and now sponsored me.
You won worlds in wrestling?
No, I won worlds in MMA.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was the very first ever.
Worlds is still considered like an amateur term?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like the Olympics for us. There's no Olympic thing, but that committee, the IMUF, the International Mixed Martial Arts Federation, is trying to build like the Olympic thing. I think right now we're at 100+ countries. When I competed, we were at like 75. So man, I had to fight 5 times in 1 week.
shit.
And it's 5 times in 6 days. So right before the championships, you get that 1 day off. And both years, I had like real substantial injuries after the quarterfinal fight, where I didn't think I was going to fight, and somehow just had to push on through. And you have to make weight every single day as well.
Wow.
Which is I think to any fighter, that's the worst part. But man, when I turned pro, I ended up meeting a guy who ended up, small world, being the Prince of Bahrain.
Oh shit!
And he made
wow.
his own team. The funniest thing for me is like, and this is like his associates calling me, and you hear that like Arabic accent, like, oh, hello, brother, I'm just like, oh, it's a spam call, and out of nowhere, they're like, no, like, I'm with the Prince of Bahrain, we were trying to get this going. I'm just like, sounds phony, but sure, like, I just took a chance, and out of nowhere, I end up in Bahrain at a 5-star hotel. I'm with Frankie Edgar, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev, who's picking up real big right now in the UFC, and so many others. And I ended up being a part of that. And they sponsored me for a year to where I didn't have to work when I graduated college.
Wow.
So like we're going to pay you to train pretty much and be part of the team. And had my first, that's where I met Lex, actually. I met him in the Middle East, which
no shit.
Bahrain is called the Pearl of the Desert. So we both met each other there. And out of nowhere, man, years later, I win, all 7 of my fights in Titan FC, become the first ever, and I'm still only the 2-time or 2-division world champion in Titan.
Yeah.
And then got to go to the UFC after that as well.
Yeah, no. Well, I remember that's when I met you, when you were still fighting in Titan.
Yeah.
And I was like, this dude is crazy, bro. He's badass. Yeah.
Crazy record, crazy energy, crazy vibe.
For me, I love Manny Pacquiao. I mean, you're a big boxer as well. So when I saw him go up multiple weight classes, being that shorty coming up, I was like, man, I want to do that too. So when I won the belt, Lex is, he wasn't my manager at the time, but he's trying to take care of me. So he's like, we'll get you proper fights. You're only 3-0. And I'm like, I want the next guy in line. They're like, that guy's 18-2.
Cool,
he just lost a really close decision to the guy who just won the Ultimate Fighter, who was going to fight Demetrius Johnson at the time. Nice. And I'm like, I want him. He's never been finished. I was like, that scares me. Those are the fights I want. And man, I knocked him out in 86 seconds.
Let's go.
There you go.
And then the UFC still didn't want me, and I'm like, well, what do I got to do? They're like, well, we want to see you come back from adversity. I was like, sure. Let me bump up a weight class. And that guy, Farkal Sharipov, just won the bantamweight tournament. So it wasn't just some average Joe that got the belt. It's this guy who won the tournament to win it. Beat 2 guys, and then I fought him, won a unanimous decision, and I broke my hand and tore my MCL in that first round.
Fight. Wow.
And I went 5 rounds
In the first round?
Yeah. The crazy thing is, I knew about my hand, so I got dropped. Was able to fight out of a guillotine because I got dropped, shot in. He held the guillotine. I was like, let me wait, let me recoup. I get up, and I'm like, all right, well, my turn. So I punch him, and I heard a click, or I felt the click, and I'm like, did I break my hand? Punch him again. I was like, yeah, no, I definitely broke my hand. And then the round ended, and so my coach, I'm whispering because they're all mic'd up. I'm whispering to my coach. I'm like, I broke my hand. He's like, okay, just elbow him, do all these things. I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. I get up, I shake out my left leg, no problem. I shake out my right leg, it just goes up and down. And I'm like, I'm kind of like wondering what's up. And then the bell rings and he starts punching me and you forget. And so I just started, it's like the whole, what was it? Not Ricky Hatton, Arturo Gatti.
Oh, yeah.
Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward, where like he breaks his hand and eventually after so many rounds, it goes numb and you just start punching. That was the same thing.
That adrenaline is something else too, man. When you're fighting,
you in there.
In the moment, you're like, all right, forget everything, I'm going.
Well, I had no choice because especially even with this MCL that just tore, I tore it with still 4 minutes left of the jiu-jitsu match. And I heard the pop. I knew it was torn. So I was like, well, let's just keep on using it. After this adrenaline's done, it'll be gone. So let me just take advantage of this now and see where it goes next.
Side note, how did that happen? Like they were putting on a knee bar, or they were putting some type of move? Or?
One of the guys, he's from Miami, has his own gym, 10 Planet Miami. Gabriel, I can't remember his last name, but shout out. Yeah. But you messed up my knee. But it was like, you won the battle in the log run. But we were going back and forth, and it was just like a fun match. And I knew technically he was better jiu-jitsu wise, but the rules were more favored towards wrestlers in the overtime. So it was 10 minutes of just submission only. And then the overtime was whoever got the first submission or first takedown. Right. So I was like, all I got to do is survive 10 minutes and then get the takedown. I'm a scramble expert. Like, that's my thing. I get out almost every submission, like 9 out of 10 times. And I was getting cocky. And that's really what happened. After, I think, 6 minutes, I'm like, oh, cool, I'll lay on my back a little bit. First time I got on my back. And I got out of maybe like 6 submissions. He was putting a good jiu-jitsu clinic on me, and I just was able to get out of all of them. He slowly started to tire out, but he saw the opportunity of me relaxing, jumped for a heel hook. And leg locks, anything, for people who know, like, man, they pop real fast.
Right. Yeah.
And so he grabbed my heel, and I was like, oh, damn, it's a lot deeper than I'd like, but let me turn once. I'm going to fight once, and that's it. And, obviously he's trying to crank and hold it because I'm squirming out. I fight once, and I knew I was going to get out, but right when I turned, I heard the pop. Dang. And I literally kind of did it like, look down like, oh man, is it like dislocated type of thing? Because that's how big the pop was. But it was my MCL that pretty much blew up on me, and kept on going. Out of nowhere, overtime came. I knew he was tired, took him down, no problem. And then I won. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going home.
Wow.
And then I had to go get an MRI and ended up being torn.
Yeah, they're gonna fucking write books about Shorty, dog. He's over fighting with broken hands, MCLs, his legs over the other mat.
Dude, man, it's just one of those things. You already know. You gotta push through all that stuff.
I love things like that, man. Because it separates the boys from the men, dog. Because you see a lot of people that get hit once, they're like, all right, cool, I'm done with fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, but I'm just a little man. I'm like the fun size version.
Yo, so what do you got planned for the rest of 2022?
Man, I'm hoping to fight 3 times this year. It depends on my promotion. Obviously, COVID is still pretty big overseas, depending on where you go. So it's trying to figure out when I can go. Plus, my injury is trying to. I know they have a fight card August 6th, maybe then in Germany. If not, as soon as possible. But I've had one fight for the promotion every single year because one, my father passed away, so I tried, couldn't do it. And then this last one, I had multiple injuries, wasn't going to make weight. My opponent didn't want to compromise, which was a smart choice by him. He's in the finals now, so I'm like, damn, I want to fight, and then I got injured. So it's just one of those like unfair share of circumstances where I'm ready, I'm training. I'm only down here in Florida. I'm from Chicago, so I'm only down here in Florida training. I'd rather be spending time with my mother, my brother, having a social life and doing stuff, or even being more productive at other things. But I'm trying to accomplish this goal, so I'm sacrificing a lot. So for me, I'm hoping 3 fights this year, and then we see what happens next. Hopefully, my body's not dying on me. I turned 30 this year, and for some reason, I'm, like falling apart. So I gotta stretch more, which sucks. But
I feel you, bro. I'm 41, and I'm trying to keep it together. I got duct tape in the car, everything.
I was saying, man, getting punched in the face for free is not fun anymore. So I'm trying to make it for some money.
Yeah, hell yeah,
my brother. So now after the Amis, you get to Titan. You win double champ and Titan. When does that UFC call come?
So the crazy thing was when I got injured, I won the second belt. They're like, man, we like you. And, Mick Maynard, I'm already cut, so I don't even care about talking smack. But Mick Maynard's like, all right, cool, we're going to have you fight next week. 1, it's a last-minute fight. And then 2, I'm injured. I just tore my MCL, which is 4 months, and I broke my hand, which is about 4 months. And I had surgery. I had to get plates and screws because when they opened it, they thought it was like this. So they're going to put a pin, everything's going to be good. But because I kept punching after that first round, and I throw about 100 punches around, they opened it up. It like crumbled apart. If you just grab a cookie and do this, it just crumbles apart. And so they had to put a bunch of plates and screws and get it all situated. And so they keep on calling me every week. They're like, how about next week? I'm like, dude, I can't fight until at the time I can't fight or throw a punch until September. This is 4 months from now. They're like, okay, cool. Well, how about September 1st? I'm like, no, that's when I can barely throw a punch. Come on, man, compromise with me. And I never got compromised. So I had about 7 last-minute calls. And then when I was finally, I took 2 more fights after that, won both those fights, both of them by finishes, one of them a rear naked choke, one of them knockout. I'm like, man, come on, I'm defending both belts. I'm literally going up and down in weight classes. Call me up. That's when I tried to go for the featherweight belt, 145. The guy said no, respectfully, okay. And then, I was trying to figure out what was next. And then I got the last-minute fight against Jared Brooks. I lost 26 pounds in 9 days. Damn. And I was like, fine, but the bad part was I was receiving ultimatums. They're like, oh, well, if you don't make weight, we're going to cut you even if you win. I was like, what? Dude, other people just missed weight. Mackenzie Dern just missed weight by 7 pounds. She's still in the organization. So there was a lot of bias and unfairness there. And I'm like, man, if I was any other weight class with my resume, 1, I definitely would have been paid more and I would have been, just more respected. Like, you want to highlight me a little bit, and then they didn't because the weight class was dying. The flyweight division, Demetrius Johnson was now going over. And then I had my second fight. They told me I was going to fight in December. This is in July. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to get fat and happy, enjoy myself. And, as fighters, we just blow up, And me, I probably definitely took it a little too much. I definitely took it too much. Then out of nowhere, they're like, 20 days before, like, hey, you're going to fight Alex Perez in LA at the Staples Center. I was like, that's dope. But, man, you told me I was going to fight in December. I had other plans. I'm really, really fat. I'm more.
Are you managing yourself at this time, or is
no? So Lex, when I finally was entering and leaving Titan FC and entering the UFC, Lex is like, cool, I'll take care of you. Because me, and you already know, growing up from the hood, I'm just like, man, I don't trust people.
Right.
All these big management teams, there's great management teams. Again, first round, sucker punch, they're all cool and that's great, but they have so many people. I'm like, man, I want people to look at me. Doesn't matter if you have Dustin Poirier and Mazda, all these phenomenal guys, which is cool, but man, I'm a shorty trying to get to that level. I need you to kind of hand feed me sometimes and pick me up, but I didn't trust people. They would see dollar signs, and I was like, that's greedy. I don't like that.
Money makes people funny.
Yeah, man. I went to gyms, and people would look at me, and they're like, cool, whatever. He's good. And then out of nowhere, I start winning belts, and like, oh man, come on back. And I'm like, dude, you were just telling me no the other day, you know.
Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm like, my career too.
I was like, how did I become 7 feet tall now? You know, so out of nowhere, I make the UFC. Lex is managing me. I was like, you're the only person I trust, and he got me there, got me the contract with Brave as well. And man, the only problem was McMaynard and the UFC was already cutting the flyweight division, so they didn't really care what I had to say. So when I had no choice but to take the fight, they're like, you take the fight against Alex Perez, and if you don't, then you don't fight until next year. Next year doesn't mean January. And I'm like, yeah, man, I need the money. You signed me on a really small contract, so I have no choice but to fight. So I take the fight. I already had a bad weight cut. For people who don't know, I was already like kind of losing my engagement. My dad's health was already going down. So mentally, I'm already all over the place, you know. Yeah. Take this fight, and people who cut weight, man, it's a struggle.
Brutal.
You want to quit everything in life,
right?
And so I get to the fight. It's actually fight week, my birthday, which I was like, oh man, I can't even have cake, but make weight, which was a struggle. And I had my fiance at the time literally in the sauna with me, which is dope. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
For 2 hours we were in the sauna, back and forth. Like she was a wrestler too. She was literally dragging me in there. That's how I just wanted to quit. So that week, Monday was fight week. Saturday was a fight at the Staples Center, which is dope. I'm fighting where the LA's, play.
Yeah.
But I was so mentally broke from outside things and even just the weight cut that I'm like, I don't even care. I'm on a 33 fight winning streak. I'm like, I don't care what happens in the fight. I just want to go home. In my head, a 4-fight contract. I'll be 3-1. 3-1. I'm not worried about it. Going to the fight, just so mentally broken. Things happening in the locker rooms too, and I was kind of an asshole throughout fight week. Yeah. Get to the fight, I get knocked out, first ever time, TKO'd. I was like, shit, it happens. I had to apologize to my team. Master Bob's like, he's my father figure. He knows, like, hey man, you were kind of a dick. You gotta apologize to everyone. I got what I deserved. Said my apologies, and then eventually I got released because I was making my own YouTube videos. I just ended up talking bad, if you want to say, about the business, where I'm like, man, Demetrius Johnson's being cut or being released, going to ONE FC. We have no Conor McGregor. We have no Colby Covington. And watch, they're going to start to cut us. And I ended up being right. And because I called it, they didn't like it. I guess I'm talking bad about the organization, but Colby and all these other guys can call Dana this, Dana that, or the UFC is whatever crap. And then I ended up released because I'm not a name.
Yeah.
And so I ended up signing with Brave.
So and Brave was waiting in line for you.
Dude, Brave was there. They're like, you're cut. Come on over.
Yeah,
like,
awesome.
You're come on over. We're going to respect you. We're going to help you. We're going to do this, do that. I mean, man, they've been helping me. I have the owner's number. I have the matchmaker's number. I can talk to people.
Right.
In the UFC, I wasn't able to do that. They don't want to talk to me. They don't care. I'm just a worker. I'm just a pawn in the game.
And for people who don't know, Brave is like huge in the Middle East.
Yeah.
It's like UFC of the Middle East, right?
Dude, they're everywhere.
Right.
Like over there, when I go to Bahrain for training camps, like I go to hotels and I don't know anybody. It's a whole different country to me. I don't know. They're like, oh, we seen you on TV. Like, given the fight that I had to pull out because of my father, they have I don't know how many floors their tallest building is, but they had a poster of me, the owners, and everyone.
The tallest you ever saw yourself?
Dude, the tallest building. I'm looking. I'm like, yo, like
Look at me, 200 feet tall.
Everyone's pretty much everyone's talking about a billboard. I'm like, this is like 20, 40 billboards. Like, this is ridiculous.
That's
so
awesome.
when I'm walking around, they're like, oh my god, it's Jose Shorty Torres. Like, and they're super respectful. I mean, like when you go to different countries, it's different.
Oh yeah.
Here
the love
we
is different.
We compete against ourselves here. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna help you, and then after, like, we're gonna beat his ass. And it's like, but over there, like, we're literally gonna help you. Like, I went to Dagestan, knew none of the guys. They're like, if you want us to jump off a cliff for you, we will. And I'm like, damn, that's how much you want me. Yeah, I was like, that's how much you want me to succeed. Like, I appreciate you guys. Like, that's a team, So it's crazy.
That's awesome, my brother. And I know. Once you started doing real well with your fight career, you started bringing your dad along. Was your cornerman a couple times?
No. So my dad, my mom and dad came to every single fight. That was in the States, which was dope because when I was a kid and especially in high school, my mom came to everything, but also kind of forcibly because she had to take me. When I got to high school, the bus took me, the coaches took me, so they never really. It's not that they didn't support, just they had time to do their own thing. My dad rarely, even as a child, went to stuff like. I remember going to one karate tournament. And those tournaments, you might compete in the morning, you might compete at night. You don't know, so you just get there and wait. My dad's all paranoid. He smoked weed every like 30 minutes. So if he can't smoke, he's like, he just wants to fight someone. I'm like, oh, Dad, don't hit me. I do like to say though, like, out of everyone, because my dad used to hit the shit out of me, I'm like, no one's gonna hit me as hard as my dad hit me, so I could take a shot. You know, so anytime I went to karate tournaments, I was like, oh man, I gotta win. If not, I'm gonna get my ass kicked going home. And I remember the very first tournament I took him to, it was just one of those flukes. I don't know if it was under pressure, just a bad day in the office, but I lost. And he's like, man, I waited this long for this, and I'm like, damn, next time I gotta win. Like, this is why he doesn't come. Like, but it was definitely tough love, but a proper tough love that pushed me. So when I went to do more tournaments, I started winning. But when I turned pro, he's like, man, my son's actually doing this. All that play fighting, even beating disaster for his own little, because he was angry, ended up working out in his favor. He's like, man, he's accomplishing my goals that I wanted to do. He just never had the opportunity. And same thing with my brother. So everyone would show up. And now my brother, I fly him out to every fight. So he's been able to travel to different countries. And he's like, wait, I need a passport? What? I need to do this? And like, he's almost,
that's awesome.
He's like my big little brother, you know? So I'm just like, you want food?
Shout out to bro and mom. I met mom.
D-Tech, what up?
Yeah. Hey, and I know your brother. Did your brother one time he was acting like it was you or something like that?
Yeah. Yo, so my brother.
The twins?
Yeah,
no, he's a little older, but
we look extremely alike. But he's a good scammer, man. Like he's one of those guys that. So he's like, hey, he's my biggest fan. Like he builds shrines of me. Like he paints me in Chicago. Like, I have a couple paintings of me in Chicago, which is dope. Usually they only do that for dead people. So like, oh, cool, I'm not dead yet. Maybe my career's dead. I don't know. But still, oh, thank you. And I don't know. He's like, hey, could I have your amateur belts? I have 10 of them. So I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Like, to me, I don't know if you ever seen that Mike Tyson video of him kind of like tossing around his belts. He's like, they meant something to me at that time, but me, they're worthless. Right. It's the same thing. That it's cool with the physical stuff, but it is what it is. My brother, though, it's the top of the world. So it's like he would go to clubs with 2 belts. I don't know where get in for free. I don't know where get like bottle service. Talk to women, this and that. I'm like, dude,
Shorty's out of shape, bro.
Dude, he'd scam me, be like, oh yeah, I had to get surgery, so I'm getting back too. But he showed pictures of me and like flipping through the photos like a Tinder account almost. And I'm like, dude, hold on, wait.
Like that, like,
so you're telling me I could have been getting this the whole time? Like he gets more than I do.
That's awesome.
Saying he's me. And I'm like, damn, man.
That's hilarious.
That's what it's all about right there.
Man. Like, oh, this is my this is me. Okay, he's gonna speak for me.
No, he's my biggest hype man. But like even at times I'll take him out with me clubbing or whatever. I don't usually go out, so when I go out I want to go big, and I have expensive jewelry sometimes, so I don't want, especially in Chicago. And with my dad's background, me growing up with it, automatically people have an image towards me, So I'm just like, oh, I kind of sometimes have to walk around with protection. But I don't know, I'm with my brother's friends or like some real big guys, 6 feet tall, big heavyweights, just appearance wise, it's scary.
Right.
I don't know. I'm like, you guys protect me, but then I see a fight on the other side. I'm like, why is there a commotion over there? I go over there. They're starting the commotion. They're like, oh, you want to fight me? Shorty, get him. And I'm like, yo, you're supposed to be protecting me, man. Here, hold my chain.
My brother, so one thing, amazing thing that came out of him fighting in Brave FC, the Saudi prince gave you a Range Rover.
Yeah.
How did that come to
yeah, man. So the crazy thing, so the Bahraini prince, so he, Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa, like dope guy. Like right after I graduated, he called me, brought me overseas, and I ended up being his brother for a year. He's like, you stay here, I'll take care of you, everything's good. He's just a really big fan and wanted to start his own team. Me, I looked at it as, especially come from the neighborhood, I was like, man, you helped me. Like, I won't forget this, so I'm going to help you as much as possible. Stayed there longer than I should, help more people than I probably even needed to. I did a lot because I want to give double back in return, morally at least. And so when the team, in a sense, disbanded with the money, I was like, well, cool, I'm going to stay in contact. Like, I'm going to treat you like a person. I'm going to treat you like, obviously in public, you're royalty, you're my guy, but we're brothers, like, you helped me out a lot. And when he started Brave, he gave me the first commentary job that I really ever did. So I'm like, this is dope. Gave me that commentary experience for Titan and other promotions. And as the years progressed, I always still talk to him. I've represented the team without any money, just more like, man, I want to keep on paying that favor. You're a friend. You're a brother.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
When my dad passed away, he goes, how much is the funeral? I was like, oh, well, it's this much. He goes, I'll take care of it. I was like, damn, man, like, I'll never forget this, So I'm like, he ended up paying for the funeral. He ended up paying everything for my father's expenses. And he don't have to do that. Because you have the money doesn't mean you just start, passing it around. Like, he's trying to help. That's not his way of buying, like, friendship like that. You can give money to anybody and they'll take it and leave, Right. Like, he's like, dude, you're a genuine friend. I want to help you. So I'm like, oh, I appreciate you. So sign with Brave. Everything's good. And I fight another guy named Shorty, but Shorty rocks Santella. And really good jiu-jitsu. My style is more stand-up. He calls me, he goes, brother, you accepted that fight? I was like, yeah. He goes, you're going to lose. I'm like, yo, that's pretty fucked up. You're gonna call me just talking shit, support somebody else. He goes, no, I'm not supporting him. I'm just saying, I think you're gonna lose stylistically. And he's pretty spot on with stuff. I'm like, oh, I bet you I won't lose. And I kept wording that I won't lose. Not saying I'm gonna win. I'm saying I won't lose. And he goes, how about this? I'll bet you a car. I was like, okay. The big car in the States at the time was the Bronco that was kind of coming back.
Right.
So I was like, oh, I want an SUV. I have a Corolla at the time. I was like, I'll take a Bronco. He goes, all right, if you win, or excuse me, if you don't lose this fight, then you'll get a Bronco. If you lose, then that's it. You lose. So there's no lose to me in a sense besides losing the fight. So he's trying to incentivize some stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. I take the fight. I end up having a lot of anxiety. It's my first fight after my father passed away. So I lose the first 2 rounds. And I'm like, damn, there's only 1 round left. And I tried my best, and I did as much as I could. That the last round ended up being a 10-8 because it was so dominant.
Oh, nice.
So automatically ended up being a draw. Oh, wow. So I was like, damn, I didn't win. I didn't win the fight. I didn't win the car. Blah blah blah. And so I hang out with him after, and he comes to me, and I was like, I just had my head all down. I was like, damn, Shake, I didn't win the fight. He goes, but you didn't lose. I'm like, what? I was like, so you're telling me I get the car? He goes, yeah, brother, I'm gonna keep my promise. You didn't lose. That's how I worded it. I was like, I love you.
He said, what color you want it in? It's coming.
So he's like, oh, brother, you still want the Bronco? At the time, the Bronco, because it was the most popular, already sold out. Right. So I'm like, oh, well, damn, what car should I get? I didn't want to be like, all bougie. I was like, let me get a Lamborghini, whatever. And, I don't want to push the button. Right. So I'm like, all right, cool. Whatever car you want to buy me. I'm being that whole girl, like, what do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? And so I'm just happy to get a car, And so my car was an 09 Corolla. So I'm like, anything is better right now.
Anything will be whooping it.
So he goes in his parking lot. He's like, how about a Rover? And Rovers are huge over there. So he's like, how about a Rover? I was like, well, I don't want a big car. How about the sports version? He goes, okay, you pick any car you want. You pick any accessory. If it has an extra cup holder for an extra $1,000, get it. I was like, okay. I ended up, purchasing everything online and doing it. And the guy from Chicago calls me. He goes, if you don't mind me asking, why did you buy so much stuff in it? You just bought random accessories, like a book bag with it, like random stuff, the extra cup holder, like random stuff that
when I'm bored, I need a friend to drive with me.
Yeah, like random bolts that I'm never ever gonna put on my car. I just put on all these things, and he's like, "Why'd you do that?" I was like, "Honestly, I just saw it was more money, so I clicked it." And he's like, "All right, fair enough." And man, everything got paid for. So I ended up being gifted a free car. The only flaw with it, I told you coming outside, I hit a cone on the highway that was like being tossed around. Oh. And it ran right in front of me where I had no choice but to run it over. Yeah. Hit the bottom of my car, ended up cracking the bumper, and I had to pay, a little above $1,500 for that.
I told him there's a saying in Miami, you want to drive a Mercedes, you're going to pay for Mercedes. You want to drive a Range Rover, you're going to pay for Range Rover.
The only problem is, dude, I'm a phony. Like, I'm literally driving the car. And I'm like wearing like TJ Maxx and Marshall's gear, I'm repping Ross.
You gotta park on the side and go panhandle for gas money.
Dude, like, so people, especially if I go date, they're like, oh my god, cool, like you can take me here. I was like, oh man, oh yeah, I'll take you there. So they order all this food and they're like, what are you gonna get? I'm like, hey, how much is water?
What you mean? You didn't just order this so we can split it?
I was like, can I get ice? You charge for ice? No ice, please. No ice.
Shorty be at the table trying to cut coupons and shit.
Yo, sure, but you was over there when he told you to give you, so they shipped the car over here for you?
No. So I bought it and then I was just able to get it here.
Okay, gotcha. Damn, that was awesome.
Yeah, so like I'm driving the Rover now, which is dope, but the gas is so expensive right now. I'm like,
and he wired that money to Chicago.
Yeah,
did you drive it down from Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and that was like my first time like testing it out.
There you go, giving it a little road trip and everything.
Yeah, oh man.
Fuck yeah.
And it has a dynamic mode on it, so like when I press it, the lights inside change.
Oh shit.
And so it's just it's different for me because I had a 09 before Bluetooth was real big. I was like, wait, I can talk in the car now. This is dope, So to me, it's a big upgrade.
Hell yeah,
you deserve it, brother.
I appreciate it, man.
No, for sure.
Hey, another thing I want to ask about. When are we? Did you and Lex made a podcast, Breaking Lex, right? Was that
it was called Twins. And so it's called Twins because if you watch
the movie Twins,
like Danny DeVito.
Right.
Sadly, I'm Danny DeVito, I guess, if you didn't know. And he's Arnold Schwarzenegger, apparently, whatever. But, man, so we started doing that. It just, it's real time consuming. You guys already know. So it's just a process, man.
It is. Well, me and Tonight want to be guests on it when you guys bring it back.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
And when are we breaking Lex again then?
So he has his training camp now. I believe he's supposed to be fighting in November. I'm already punching him every day. This was before I found out about the fight. Now it's just double. So I'm just doing as much as possible to help him. But man, it's crazy to be 50, 51, pushing through. I mean, how old are you now?
I'm 41.
You know, and you already understand the pains, the struggles of pushing
Absolutely.
through. Like he's 10 years older, and he has a family, he has kids. He's going through a lot right now, and he's still walking forward. So being able to do that and help A Hero and all the veterans a part of that. Right. You know, like he has a lot of problems, and especially with he's mentally unstable. But you know, being able to push through,
we all are.
But like running the promotion and really taking the main role of that, like that's a lot of work. So he's showing the veterans, man, like not to give up and push through and strive for more.
Never too late.
No, yeah, absolutely. And Lex is, shout out to Lex, man, real honorable person. You know what I mean? And he's managed fighters for a long time. So I remember when he did his first break in Lex, that we were part of the camp in Alabama, which was amazing.
And that's where you and I connected,
right,
really.
Right. We stayed in a 2,000-acre ranch. It was sick.
It was so different.
It had a lake in the back and all that?
We had DJs come in out of nowhere.
Yeah. No, and Lex, I remember saying, like, I'm like, Lex, well, you know what? Why are you doing this? He's like, man, because I've managed you guys so much, and I've thrown you guys into the fire so many times that I feel like I have to throw myself in the fire, too.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, that's honorable, bro. You know what I mean? It was super cool. But I got to punch him in the face a ton of times, then, too.
You don't know. He donated the full check and his sponsorship to A Hero, the Help Veterans. So, like, he, in a sense, and what I was talking about, like, getting punched in the face for free is no fun. He did it for free.
Yeah. It's funnest camp I've ever been a part of, though, because it was a heavyweight camp. We had a chef. Shout out to chef.
Yeah.
We got to eat. We got to run these. I'm telling you, 2000. Oh, matter of fact, we got there together. Then as soon as we got to the camp, we jumped in some like 4-track, right? And we got stuck we jumped in like these golf carts with like mudding tires,
like the 4-wheelers, everything.
Yeah. And then we started going everywhere, and we got one stuck, right? So then these guys turned around to help us and got stuck too.
It's like when you get the tow truck stuck too. Yeah. We gotta call another tow truck.
We got pictures stuck in the mud. It was cool.
Shit. Were you there where they Lex threw the spider at me? There was like almost like a 10-inch spider.
Yeah.
Because we're in the middle of nowhere. It's like the woods.
Yeah.
And so there's spiders, and it's not like the little house spiders. Like the legs are almost like 3 inches, 4 inches.
No. Yeah. I was there when Lex shot one that wasn't a web.
Lex hates spiders, because he served 2 tours of Somalia, so he saw some crazy stuff over there. But like this spider was hanging on the golf cart, and it was like this big. I'm nonchalant walking towards it. I don't know. I'm right behind. He grabs a piece of paper, like a folder, and was able to put the spider on it. He goes, "Hey, Shorty," and like chucks it at me. And I don't know where it lands. Dude, it landed on my face. No. Dude, I wanted to fight him so bad. I was terrified.
Listen, I'm getting goosebumps just sitting here, bro.
Yeah,
dude,
that's crazy.
Was, like, again, you think about when you take a city boy or a hood boy to the country, like it's a whole different thing, you know.
Absolutely.
It was bad. It was bad.
That was messed up, Lex. That was messed up.
Yeah, bro, I got 2 important questions.
What's up?
One of them is, where do you get your nails done?
Oh, yeah. There you go. Shout out to Addie and Kylie.
Hey. So I thought it was Addie and Kylie.
Yeah, my little sisters wanted to get a mani-pedi, and they were getting acrylics, and one of them was like, "Oh, maybe you should get your nails painted," because I've gotten them painted before. I'm like, why not? I don't care. And so they're like, "Oh, you should get them done." I was like, "Well, I ain't gonna get acrylics, but maybe if I get my nails painted, I can get Lex to do it." And he was too like manly. He's like, "No." I was like, "Dude, I know your sexuality. You're all good. Like, no, I'm not gonna be like." Like, little sucks good legs. But I was like, just get them done. And man, that's been the comment or the conversation almost everywhere I go, because I have both my hands and my feet painted. So
when you pulled up, we started talking. I started, well, I'm bringing that up in the podcast.
So what made you get that color?
So my dad's gang colors are purple and black. So automatically, I was gentlemen. So automatically, I'm gonna get shot in Chicago. But no, automatically does. Dude, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I get death threats when I go home because I made a post when my dad passed away. I came out back in the day when the Warriors were out, that movie where they walk out with the sweaters. My dad had a gang sweater. So I decided when he passed away as like a tribute fight for him to walk out in his sweater. And so I walked out, took it off, and that was it. Nothing. That was just representing my father. Did purple nails just to symbolize the colors a little more, and that was it. Man, I got so much slack from it back home. Because some
Chicago's
people,
huge with the gang stuff too.
It was half and half. When some people were like, "Oh man, it's admirable. Like you came up from all this struggle and you're still pushing through and using gangs as like a positive influence, like you made it out type of thing." Other people were like, "Man, like the hood mentality, like, oh, that's fucked up. You're gonna get jumped from this." I'd go into places, wearing purple, just purple, and they're like, they would check me. I was like, man, and luckily I have a name. I'm able to talk my way out of stuff, but I'm like, man, this can get bad real fast. But so I always paint them purple most of the time. I've painted them black before, but maybe every once in a while I might change the color.
There you go.
That's why, like, even my phone case is purple. My wallet is purple. Like,
hey, we're gonna put Shorty's Instagram right here. Any girls want to do his nails? Hit him up.
Hit me up. Hey, do my eyebrows too. I got some really. That's one thing I always have. I have pretty eyebrows in almost any female that I talk to.
My brother, and I know I don't know, is it recent you started the Team Shorty Foundation?
So I started it back in 2019.
Okay.
And it's, again, Manny Pacquiao being my favorite fighter. I saw him do this Pacquiao Foundation, helping a lot of people. Then you see Dustin Poirier starting his The Good
Absolutely,
Fight.
right.
So I'm like, man, I should be able to do the same thing. And I've been able to help people, mentoring kids, giving kids free gear. But like when I grew up, I had the same boxing gloves for 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm punching people with my hands with just like a little wrap over it, if you want to say, So
Putting con balls in there. And
yeah, I wasn't able to afford it. I'm a little hood kid, so I'm just kind of taking hand-me-downs, and especially as a shorty, I'm taking hand-me-downs from anyone. So while coming up, when I started to gain more money, kids would ask me, they're like, oh, I'm trying to get gear. But I was like, oh, cool, I'll just buy it for you. I'll give you my old stuff. So a lot of sponsored gear that I didn't use, I'd give it to them. And I started to go, man, maybe I could start a foundation where people can donate and start giving gear, or keeping like kids in the gym, but not just kids, but kids, teens, and young adults, because it's never too late to start, So I start helping everyone. I sponsor local fighters. I sponsor fighters in general, but it doesn't matter how good you are. I don't care if you're 10-0. I don't care if you're 0-10. If you're a genuine person, I see you helping people, I'm going to pay it forward, like that one movie, pay it forward.
Right,
like,
I love that.
I got you. Like, I'm going to help you. I don't care if you become champion. I don't care if you lose your next 10 fights. Like, as long as you're helping people and trying to be an inspiration or a light to your community, I got you. So that's what I do, and I've been able to do. Like, you have turkey drives, food drives, stuff, toys for tots for Christmas, like as much things as possible. I'm trying to do a scholarship right now through my foundation for my high school. I didn't have money to buy books. Maybe if you guys want to be athletes and still go to school, I can buy books for you. Maybe that gives you a little incentive to go, cool, it's not as expensive as I thought.
Absolutely. That's badass. I would like
That's
to see how, we'll talk after here, see how we could get involved with that.
So
That's awesome.
with that, for people who are watching, TeamShorty.com, everything, 100% of the proceeds on my website go to the foundation. So I make no money out of it. I actually lose money. So hey, but, damn you kids! What's that? What's that Jordan quote where like people mock this? Like fuck them kids. Yeah. No man, everything Team Shorty Foundation, TeamShorty.com goes to them, and it just helps a lot of people. And it might, any little thing where I enter the gym. It wasn't that I thought I was going to be a professional. It just put me around the positive people that I needed to be better in my life and actually notice my potential. And that gave me the ability. So I'm hoping to be able to do that, for more people than just myself.
Right. What does he write? We can, we will?
Yeah, we can, we will. Together we are Team Shorty, because I wouldn't be able to be where I'm at today if it weren't for other people's help. Yeah, and you understand, you might be in the cage in the ring by yourself, but it took a lot of people to hold my hand sometimes to pick me up to get there.
Absolutely. And I've told you before, you've done You're great at expressing yourself. You know what I mean? And you said it.
I cry a lot.
That is good too. That's good too. That's good too.
Yeah, but he's really, really well at expressing himself, especially expressing how you're feeling, like when you're going through when you're losing weight for a fight.
Yeah.
When you're getting ready for a fight, all the anticipation and the anxiety that fighters feel. He knows how to put it into words real well.
I've put that on my YouTube channel as well. It's like Team Shorty online, where it's just more of like, man, And the crazy thing is, I have a videographer that will film me throughout the day of whatever practice, but I never have a topic.
Right.
And so he's like, oh, what are you going to talk about today? I was like, well, let's just see how practice goes and how my mentality is. I went to one gym, and out of nowhere, it's nothing but guys your size. And I'm like, but it's jiu-jitsu. So I'm like, damn. Like, I got to really think, because I can't roll with somebody that size like I'm rolling with somebody that's my size. I have to manipulate it. I have to be faster. I have to be smoother. I have to be smarter. I have to really break it down as a chess match. And then after, I'm complaining about, like, man, these guys are big, but I also have a Napoleon complex. I want to take down and climb all these trees.
You want to do it anyways.
So for me, same thing with women. I like giraffes. But, for me, man,
you want to jump up on me.
Yeah, I'm that little monkey, which is funny, because I have a friend who I see every once in a while in Chicago. She's 5'11".
Oh, shit.
And so, like, one time I was like, where are the biggest heels you have?
Amazonian.
Yeah, I was like, where are the biggest heels you have?
Oh, so it's like a fetish type of thing.
Almost. Well, it's also, it makes me look good.
There you go.
You think about it.
Don't make it sound weird.
Yeah. You know how confident you have to be?
Blink.
Yeah. You know how confident you have to be to date someone not just taller than you, but like substantially taller than you? It looked like I was holding a balloon. I was like, give me your hand. It looked like my mom was taking me inside the club type of thing. Like, when I walked in, all the short guys were like, we're proud of you.
Shorty walks into the club with his chick, and he's hanging on that baby thing right here. You know?
Yeah.
Like Carlos from
you ever see Little Man, where he's in the back, like, take me in. That's me. But No, man, I'm just a naturally confident person. So being able to do things like that, like, so talking about the podcast, that episode, I was facing bigger guys. So I even talk and express, I'm like, man, I'm not going to lie, I have to struggle to have this Napoleon complex, but it teaches me a lot because by the time I go with people my size, I get to adapt to things a lot faster. Yeah. You know, whether they're stronger, cool. I face bigger, stronger guys. Maybe they're faster. Some big guys are real fast. Maybe they're more technical. Some of these guys are black belts and high level, so I had to work on this stuff. You know, so every topic changes depending on the episode, and I just kind of express my feelings on that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's therapy. It's therapy, just like this is.
It's all mental health. Yeah, I mean, I say 100%. You can have the best machine in the world. And I've had my greats of greats, and I've had my biggest fall, and now I'm at my return where I'm like, I'm hungry again. I lost my hunger for a few years. Yeah. But for me, it's like, man, you can have the best machine in the world, but without a proper operator, like, what's it matter? Right. It's like having a Lambo outside. Like, you can drive as fast as you want, but if you don't know how to turn, you don't know how to do all these things, that, man, you're going to crash and total it. So what's
and it all
really
starts
worth?
right here.
Yeah.
It does. It absolutely does. Hey, something else that you do that I want to be a part of when you do it, we could bring it down to Miami, is you do like a food tasting. What's it called?
So it's called. So I've
like
done
a food review.
Yeah. So I've done a few. One in Chicago where, like, during COVID, my foundation, everything. My foundation helped sponsor a lot of restaurants. Where I'm like, man, I understand, especially in Chicago. Florida never really cared about COVID, but in Chicago.
Yeah, well, the Chicago mayor was like the worst one.
Oh yeah, it was bad. Like the
Beetlejuice.
The vaccine mandate lasted for like 2 weeks, and it was like, okay, cool, we're good. It's like, wait, hold on. It was dumb, but it was the thing of no one wanted to go back into the restaurants. They were scared, and restaurants were, still brand new, trying to open back up. So I was like, you know what? Let me show off the restaurants, the food, the people, the environment. It's safe after COVID, and hopefully it can bring your customers back in. So I'd pay videographers to do all this stuff. I was like, I'm not going to charge the restaurant. Just let me eat here for free, show off your food, and that's it. Like, you get all the notability, all the videos, all the stuff, all the rights, and they took advantage of it in a good way. And I did 11 food reviews, and right now I'm actually the host of a new show we just started. I shot one episode 2 days ago when I hit the damn cone, but was driving to Port St. Lucie. There's a place called My Brother's Barbecue, and it's a hole in the wall. It's a mom and pop shop.
I love those.
That's like right next to the gas station, like connected to the gas station. Okay. It's so like new school, or excuse me, like so new that they have the big grill in the back. Like they cook everything in the back, and you see the smoker cooking up. So it's a good, mom and pop shop barbecue place. But like when I got there, their AC broke.
Shit.
And so I'm there like doing the food review, sweating, eating the food. But man, it's cool because, man, how many shops down here are fire, but they just no one knows.
I got this one shop. It's called Knuckle Sandwich. That if you go there,
I've been there once. I think I had we need a review out there.
He did do a review.
And I shouted them out because, man, but that's the same thing. I'm trying to start a food truck in Chicago. That's another reason why I want to start fighting. When I get the money, I buy the food truck. Right. My guys back at home from high school, it's called Prime Tacos. They made something, their staple, they have birria tacos and all that stuff, but their staple is called the Cheeto Burger. Oh, nice. We've so far the only company that knows how to put the Cheeto bun, like dip the Cheeto in so the whole thing looks red. Like hot Cheetos.
Oh, shit.
And we're primarily Mexican in Chicago, so like we love hot Cheetos and like the gooey melted cheese. Like I'm salivating thinking about it. And I'm telling you, look it up, Prime Tacos on IG. Like they ended up having one video go up to almost 2 million views because of just their burgers. Because it's just so like visually like just tantalizing. But they've been on the news, they've been on that stuff. So I'm trying to help them out and trying to get them a taco truck and all that stuff. But man, you find out these people trying to come up, they need help. If Absolutely. I can't obviously do it with money and stuff like that and invest in their business, let me help you by just promoting.
Yeah, with your platform.
Again, that whole pay your voice.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, no, absolutely. No, and trust me, like I said, I want to go with you.
Dude, I'm telling you, even like your place, it's new, and there's obviously so much like room to grow. But you had your 1 year anniversary. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But like
that was the 1 year anniversary for the museum that I have the truck at.
Oh, close enough. Well, hopefully you're there for a year.
Well, actually, we got to do like a grand opening soon.
But that's dope.
Like a real official.
You're different, and obviously, I think the artwork that you do for every sandwich is hilarious.
Thank you.
But you're doing your thing, and that's really hard to do, especially from a taco truck, being able to find local places to help you out and trying to create your own customer support system.
Yeah, a little buzz. Try to create that buzz for what you got. Talking about all this food, I want to bring up what's the skinny circle.
The Skinny Circle. Oh no. So the Skinny Circle is my management company. So they're my endorsement management company. So they'll find me, which is funny because I'm doing a giveaway, and I usually do giveaways on my IG. I partner with a company called Clam Shack Nation.
Oh, I've seen that
in Rhode Island, and they do like refrigerated soups that they do, and they're part of a big company that does soups for like Panera Bread and Publix and all the like the big chain places. But man, they make some really good stuff. Clam chowder, lobster bisque, gumbo, and shrimp and rice. Right now, I'm giving away.
I've seen that.
Check it out. They're actually let me do 3 giveaways.
Nice.
And so whoever in the U.S. that wins, follows them. They're a good company that's helped me out. But I love trying food, and you already know what sponsors that hit you up. Like
I'm starving. Send them my way.
Sometimes they tell you to try out stuff. I was like, no, fly me out. I want to try out the food first. And they flew me out to Rhode Island, and I got to try out the food,
awesome.
Look at the company, meet the people. I was like, I'm gonna recommend you guys.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, I saw the giveaway the other day, and then you see all the friends on the hey, I want to win.
and like, dude, I got messages after like, so you gonna hook me up or what? I'm letting them pick. Because if I pick, I'm losing friends.
Right. No, either way, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Because the people who don't know, you're gonna think you pick somebody, anyways. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and that's the bad thing. It's like me, I try to be as real as possible, especially on social media, and they're automatically gonna think the opposite. And I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Society. That's society. That's society and the way they think.
2022, baby.
But that's why, like with the blue check mark, that's one of the reasons why I like to be as real as possible. Like today, Sunday, I like to be the question day where, man, ask me anything, I'll put it out there. Especially mental health wise. Like somebody asked me, like, how's your week going? I was like, honestly, man, I've been going the best, but it doesn't mean next week ain't going to be better. Doesn't mean tomorrow is going to be a phenomenal day and start it all with a fresh start. You know, so it's a process, but it's a yin and yang. So you got to take the good with the bad with the good.
Sure.
Right. No, and that's great for everybody out there, listening, because like you said, everybody has their days, man. I have my days where I'm high, I have my days where I'm low, and everybody goes through it at different moments for different things. You know what I mean?
They hit me up with some crazy questions, fun questions, like if your mom and dad were gonna die and you were holding one, which one would you let go? I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. Like crazy stuff. Or they ask me like, I'm single, and they'll ask me relationship advice, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm the best person to give that. Right now. I was like, no offense, man, I had a failed relationship, but
Shorty single, likes long walks on the beach, guys.
If you're taller than 5'7", hello. Hey, yes.
Yeah. My brother,
and you gotta eat too. You gotta make sure you eat.
Yeah, as long as you're a foodie, if you can communicate, which I believe is a huge thing. So being able to express yourself, talk about whatever, and just be free, then cool. If you're open and being able to like put your foot down, like stand your ground, be independent, and go, cool. Hey, I don't like this. Right. Hey, I want to tell you something. Get it off my chest. Whatever. Right. Cool. You're honest to me. That's awesome. And then being open, trying new things. I'm super random. So saying yes and going, you know what? Hey, you want to jump out and play with me? Fuck it. Let's do it. Yeah, that's cool. Like let's just try something new. So those 3 things.
You want to paint your nails purple?
Yeah. If you want to match? Let's do it. I got this.
My brother. Biggest question on this podcast, we've asked it. You're number 74. We've asked it as the first 73. Do you believe in aliens?
Ooh, oh yeah, why not?
Oh yeah,
that's what I like to hear.
Why not? I mean,
why not? Why not? We need an answer to that.
It's the fact of like, if we're here, why isn't other places out there? Right. We might not have proof of it, but because we don't have proof doesn't mean it's there.
Right.
I mean, no offense to religion, but we believe in religion. Right. Sometimes there's no proof, sometimes there is, but it's the belief of it. Right. So whatever motivates you in whatever circumstance, same thing with aliens. If you believe in it, cool. If people want to call you crazy, everyone's a little crazy. So because you're different doesn't mean you're crazy. You're just different. Right. So I believe in aliens, but if they show up one day, they show up one day.
Have you seen some in the air?
I've not seen anything from what I know. I can't really put it out there like that. I've seen aliens as in like Latinos coming in, but that's about it. But no, man, it's for me. I'm open to new things. Yeah. And so, when people say crazy stuff, it might be crazy to me, but it's probably because I don't really understand it. Yeah, so I'm just like, you know what, man? Maybe I'm not going to say you're wrong. You might not be 100% right, but I think there's aliens out there.
Right. I really want to believe. I've been wanting to believe since I was a kid, and it's not that I don't. You know what I mean? I'm like on the fence about it too, because the thing is, like, I've watched every documentary they do about aliens and all that stuff, and it always ends the same way. You still don't know if it's true or not.
Well, the government just said they have all these records of like UFOs and stuff like that.
They're supposed to be releasing them since they had like
2 years ago.
Whatever happened to that Area 51 march? Wasn't that supposed to be a thing? And everyone's like, nah, we're not going to do it.
Yeah. Whenever it gets real, people start disappearing. You know what I mean? That's when the government's real.
And then something happens in society that everybody starts going. They turn this way, and then they're like brushing these things over here.
Short Dog, you're a perfect person to ask this to. Also, anybody out there watching the show that we could give some positive, a positive message to, you know what I mean? Like a young Shorty coming up, man. What would you tell him?
Man, I think the 2 biggest things, for sure, in this episode is talking about trying. You know, it's not even trying to believe in yourself. It's more of like, if you give it your all, you might not know where you end up. Like, honestly, most of us, I mean,
gotta let it rip.
How many times do you want to be world champion? And honestly, it just never happened. You know, like, you keep on going. Same thing with me. Like, I want to be world champion. I still have time to do it, but maybe, just maybe, it won't happen. But if I don't try, I'll never know.
Right.
And if I don't try, I won't get anywhere farther in my life. You know, so I have to walk forward. It's like walking home. If I don't try walking home, well, I'm going to stay in the same place. I'm never going to get home. Am I going to trip? Am I going to fall? Am I going to slip? Is it going to rain on me or bad shit going to happen in between? Yeah, but that's part of the journey. You know, and this life is literally a journey, so let's enjoy it while we can. And in that process, obviously, try your best to take care of yourself, because I'm not trying to be the best in the world. I'm trying to be the best me in the world.
Yeah.
And if I can be the best me, I know I can compete with some of the best out there, so why not? But one of the big things, I got to give a huge shout out to Dean Thomas. I remember when I was going to fight Ali Bagotinov, my last fight where I slightly tore my LCL, didn't make weight. I was trying to convince him to fight at a higher weight class. And I'm like, man, I really need the money. I want to fight. I have to do this. I've been training hard. Like, I don't want to let people down. You know, you train your whole camp. Now, nowhere 2 days before, you're not going to fight. It's heartbreaking, especially in a different country. So I'm like, I'm freaking out. I'm telling my coach, Dean, I'm like, hey, you know, he might not take the fight. I'm sorry for letting you down. He goes, Shorty, let me ask you a question. If you took the fight, after this fight, no matter what happens, win or lose, would you fight again? I'm like, well, yeah. Of course. If I lost, I want to redeem myself. If I win, I want to keep on proving I'm the best in the world. I want to get that belt. He goes, okay. If he doesn't take that fight, are you going to fight? I was like, yeah, I'm going to fight as soon as possible. He goes, okay, so it's going to be okay. You're going to fight again. You might not fight today. It sucks. Yeah, it is what it is. But give yourself a day or two to pout about it, do whatever. As long as you don't hurt anyone or hurt yourself, you're good. And just keep on pushing forward. So for me, he's like, just relax. Try your best to look at the bigger picture. If it doesn't happen today, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen tomorrow. So just be okay. Be okay with things and just keep on pushing forward. Never be content, but know that no matter what happens, the good or bad, that it's only going to get better, but you have to be positive about it.
There you go.
Love that.
There you go.
Love
He's
that,
in
my
here
brother.
dropping gems.
Yes, absolutely.
That's $20. or a world champion sandwich. I'll take that. I'll take that. Shake.
Bring the belt and $20. My brother, let the people know where we can find you on Instagram.
Yeah, man. If people want to follow me, Jose Shorty Torres on IG, Shorty Torres MMA on Twitter and Facebook. Team Shorty Foundations through the TeamShorty.com. 100% of the proceeds, whatever shirt, U.S. sales only. Sorry, guys. Is everything goes to my foundation. And man, if people want to reach out, I'm the same thing with mental health. Like, reach out to me. Do Sunday Question Day, and I literally respond back to everyone who messages me. I'm not one of those guys that like, I don't know who you are, whatever.
Yeah.
I respond back, even if I don't want to respond back, or it's a question that I'm like, I know I'm going to hurt someone's feelings, or I don't like this. I still respond back because I have to be true with somebody. I'm not going to be that avoidant type of personality. I'm going to be real with you.
And you never know who needs it. You might be helping somebody, you know what I mean? Right? You might be helping somebody off the edge.
I've helped honestly, and this is not even a brag about me, because I've put myself a little more vulnerable out there and put a lot of mental health stuff. And even Sunday Question Day, I get some real dark stories that people message me. I'm like, yo, I got you. I might not know you, but one, I appreciate you reaching out to me.
Right.
Because that just means I'm doing something right.
Yep.
Two, you're being vulnerable to me. I mean, being vulnerable to anyone is a huge, huge step. And then three, you're reaching out for help. So how am I going to deny somebody? If I can't help you, I'm going to try my best to steer you in the right direction to somebody who can. If I can help you, if I can, I will. If I can't, then man, I honestly can't. So let me see what I can do from here.
Yep.
My brother, you've been on.
That's what it's all about,
an amazing
right there.
person, dog. That's
Appreciate
why I love you in and out of the ring, my brother.
I love you too, man.
Thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Yes,
And I hope you
absolutely.
came ready. I don't know if they told you, but the biggest fight you about to have in your career.
Yeah, biggest face off, really.
I was
Biggest
like,
face
am I
off.
jumping off across table? Am I looking at you? Am I looking at you? I'll take both of you, really.
Talk to him. Talk to him.
Yeah.
This guy's the champ over here. This guy's the champ over there. We have a don't blink contest. Ella.
Talk
Don't
to him.
blink contest coming
We
up
had
soon.
the Don't Blink contest and I Can't Talk contest.
Yeah, that's all,
He
folks.
started talking Spanish in the middle of the show.
Hey, thank you guys for watching Don't Blink podcast.
Oh, hold
the
on.
kid got something to say.
I got something for you.
Oh,
Sir.
I got something for you, Jen. You see that closet back there in the back and the right?
somebody in there?
Open that up right there. There's something right there.
Come
You
out
know
the
what I'm saying?
closet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody coming out the closet? Hey, is R. Kelly in there? I'm hiding in the closet.
Go down. Look at that. You got to open it from the bottom.
Ah!
Yeah.
Open it from the bottom.
There's a
From the
cougar
bottom.
in there.
So there's a gift, you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
I've been rocking and rolling with the brand, with the merch, you know what I'm saying, with History Makers. And I was like, you know what I'm saying, History Makers got a new little vibe, you know what I'm saying? Got these little coach jackets,
I see
you know what I'm saying?
Third base coach, too nice.
You know what I mean? And then
Oh, snap.
I was like, you know what I'm saying? It's only
Was that
right.
for us, me?
Yeah, it's only
shit, that's dope.
Damn.
It's only
That's
right.
the logo and everything. That's
Damn.
awesome.
It's only right that my broski get that gold on there.
That's fucking badass. Thank
You know what I
dog.
mean?
I love that.
So that's going to be available real soon on monsterbrandglobal.com. You know what I'm saying? It's going down in a major
Just
way.
dropped the gin on me. I didn't know about this either.
It's a surprise. It's Sunday service.
I love that. Thank you so much, my brother.
I hope
Thank
it fits you. Try it on. See if it fits
Yeah,
you. Let me
we
see.
will.
Let me see. Nah, we're going to do it right here live. Let me see what's up.
You gotta do the Miami style. You gotta take off the shirt though.
Oh, Short would say that. Short. Let's go. What that looking like?
I like this shit, right?
What they looking like?
My fucking baseball days right here.
Hey,
This jacket.
there you go.
Damn,
Hey,
he's shining more than my future. Damn.
Look at that. That boy looking fresher than ever right there. So, ladies and gentlemen,
My
Jaden, you
brother,
see
too
that?
nice. Thank you so much for the jacket.
It's
I
going down.
appreciate you.
MonsterBrandGlobal.com.
I take hand-me-downs.
MonsterBrandGlobal.com. This will be Shorty be wearing this for my next fight.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, Shorty, man, thank you so much for
I
being on the
appreciate
show,
you guys
man.
for
I
having me,
appreciate
man.
you, dog. You're
Yes.
awesome. Don't Blink Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Love y'all. Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. YouTube. Don't forget. Send it to your friends. Just let everybody know about this shit. Bow.
I think me and Too Nice got something great going on. We got some great guests coming up. It's gonna be dope. We got some dope people that already signed up to do it with us, which is great. A lot of people show us love, and it's because we love them back for sure.